Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to my session. Let me start off with a question. How many of you here, there's one slide that moved. Anyways, how many of you here have been involved in or close to at least one software development project in your lifetime? Can you raise a hand? There is quite a big software crowd here, and I think all of you have seen projects going badly. And there is this beautiful research by the University of Oxford and McKinsey that shows staggering results. They were studying 5,400 software projects, and out of that group, 66% of projects were delayed, 33% of projects turned out to cost more than initially anticipated, and 17% of projects didn't actually deliver the value they were meant to deliver. And I think this data and this study demonstrates really well the biggest challenge in software development, the lack of predictability. It is simply increasingly difficult to predict how long a project will take, how much money it will cost, and what value is it going to bring to the end users. I'm from Netguru. We are a software development and product design consultancy. So essentially, we deliver software projects for a living. And we deliver a lot of them. Every year, we ship over 100 software products to customers like IKEA, like Citybike, like Hyundai, or UCLA. So having such a big scale in software development, we were obviously facing the challenges of unpredictability. So we decided to do something about it. And when we were planning the 2017 year, the goals and milestones we wanted to reach, we decided that our main theme for the whole year will be increasing predictability in project delivery. So for me, finding the holy grail of software development projects. And over the next slides, over the next minutes, I'm going to walk you through our journey. I'm going to explain you the steps we took and the results we got at the end of the process. So the first step is setting the KPIs, because obviously we wanted to know whether we are going in the right direction. We wanted to know whether we reached our goal or not. And here we broke the KPIs into two groups. So on one hand, we had the technical project KPIs, which were telling us whether we are predictable or not. And we had around 10 of them, and including sprint completion. And what is sprint completion, you may ask? As we work in Agile, in Scrum, we deliver software projects in 2 weeks long sprint cycles. So sprint completion is a percentage of the sprint decided on the sprint planning that we were able to deliver at the end of the sprint. The other important KPI on the technical side was standardization of our workflow, because we really believed that only if we make our processes coherent among our 80+ concurrent projects, we can become more predictable. But the project KPIs were not enough. We wanted to be sure that if we become more predictable in our project delivery, that's also going to have a positive impact on our business and on our customers. Therefore, we decided to add the second group of KPIs to monitor, the business KPIs. And again, there were around 10 of them, and they included, for example, demand for our services, which we measured by the number of sales qualified opportunities coming in every month. And obviously, it also included customer satisfaction, which we measured by the Net Promoter Score, NPS. So once we had the KPIs, the second step for us was to choose the platform, the engine for our processes and for our business and data-driven approach. And as I'm speaking today at Dreamforce, it should be of no surprise to you that we chose Salesforce as that platform. And there were three primary reasons why we did so. The first one was that we've been using Salesforce as our CRM solution, so we had a lot of sales-related data already in there. Second of all, we've used to integrate other solutions with Salesforce, and we found it pretty straightforward. So it was also encouraging us to use Salesforce. And the third reason was customization. We have experimented a little bit before with customizing Salesforce, writing native Salesforce code, and it wasn't that scary. So all this together made us believe that Salesforce is the right choice for us. So once we had the platform, we had a lot of tools around software development that we were using. And as we were growing in the number of concurrent projects we were running, the number of tools, the number of data points was increasing exponentially. So the final step was to connect it all within Salesforce. And we started lightly. We started with expanding the way we were using Salesforce. So going out of using it only as a sales CRM to using it also as our, what we call a project CRM. So we started adding project-related information to Salesforce, like start and end dates, project descriptions, business context, project milestones, status updates, and so on and so forth. The second step was extremely important. So being a professional services company, one of the most critical processes for us is scheduling. So optimally assigning people to projects. And we have been very cautious, and we have been investing a lot in this process. We have a dedicated team that schedules projects, and we have had an internal tool that was helping us to manage it wisely. However, with the growth of the company, we have outgrown that internal tool, and we took a very brave decision to simply move it all to Salesforce. And I think this journey of moving it all to Salesforce could be a topic for a different presentation, so I would just jump to the conclusion. It was great. So not only we were able to mimic all the existing functionality of our tool in Salesforce, but we also started seeing added value. We started seeing synergies coming from the fact that we were able to combine all of this scheduling data with sales data. And the biggest impact was on our capability to plan recruitment, to plan internal training, to be able to respond just in time to the changing demand for our services. And that translated directly into money. So we were able to save money by minimizing the bench time of our consultants. We were also able to make more money by limiting the number of projects that we were not able to staff due to the lack of talent. So this was a huge milestone for us. The next one was also really important. So I was telling you about all of these project KPIs in the beginning. In order to have them in Salesforce, we needed to get the data into Salesforce. So we were integrating a lot of solutions with Salesforce, and the two main ones in our software development processes are Jira and GitHub. And being able to pull in all of the important data and being able to calculate all of these KPIs within Salesforce allowed us to get a helicopter overview of our 80 plus concurrent projects. And what it gave us is a chance to see through all of the projects and identify those that are not doing that great according to data, and help the project teams to get out of trouble and to lead to successful delivery of the project. And the final integration we did was around Slack. Slack is our main communication tool. We don't imagine life without it. And the way we use Slack with our projects is that we have a specified Slack channel for each and every project where the different teams working on a project collaborate together. And when we integrated it all with Salesforce, we started pushing the most important information and data from Salesforce to Slack. And they were including project milestones, signed contracts, project status updates, project KPIs. And what this allowed us was that the teams started to be more aligned towards the common goal of increasing predictability, of improving project quality, of increasing customer satisfaction. And this allowed us to have a better buy-in from the team to each and every project. So having done it all, I think we arrived at the final step to measure the results. We were obviously measuring it all throughout the process. But right now I just want to summarize where we are at today with all our KPIs. So if we would look at the technical project KPIs, we were able actually to meet or exceed every single of them. And the most important one for us is the sprint completion, sprint realization percentage. And here we were able to increase it by 102% in 11 months. There's a story about it. When we were at 60% of predictability, we went out to the biggest software companies to ask them about their predictability, about their KPIs, about the way they measure and run their processes. And what they told us was that 60% is already extremely high. They told us also that we will probably not be able to maintain it over time. And it was both discouraging and disappointing to hear because we wanted to increase even further. But luckily, we did not listen to them. We just continued our efforts, and as I told you, we were able to reach 82%. So the other side of the story is that we turned out to be more predictable than the biggest software giants out there. The same goes for our other project-related metric, standardization of the workflow. We were able to get up to almost 80% of our 80 projects being standardized. And that's a great achievement, and it's really helped us to become more and more predictable when it comes to our project delivery. But all of these project-related KPIs would mean nothing if they wouldn't correlate positively with the business KPIs. But luckily and gladly, they did. So if we would look at the demand for our services, actually over the last 11 months, it increased by 300%. So I couldn't argue that all of that was because of predictability, but it was a big impact. The predictability had a big impact on it because a lot of this increase were referrals from our happy, delighted customers. And I left the most important KPI at the end, customer satisfaction. We were able to, week by week, month by month, increase customer satisfaction, increase our NPS scores. And today we are at above average, we are averaging at above 9 out of 10 NPS, Net Promoter Score, which is a great achievement given the number of concurrent projects we run. And we are also recognized by the community. So today we are among the top software agencies in the world by Clutch. And Clutch is this global customer reviews aggregator for software development companies. We are also among the top product design agencies at Dribble. So it may all look easy, but believe me, it wasn't easy. And if you were to follow our steps, I would give you 2 pieces of advice. So the first one is that there will be resistance to change. And we have had a lot of resistance to change. Because once we started going towards being data-driven, going towards being KPI-driven, our team started wondering and started fearing that we would use those KPIs in a binary fashion, that we would use those KPIs to fire them if they don't meet the KPIs. And it took us a while of convincing and proving that it's not the way we want to do things in order to achieve the status which we wanted to achieve, that we use the KPIs as a guideline to the bigger goal of increasing predictability, of increasing customer satisfaction, of improving quality of our projects. And the second advice is to be persistent, be really stubborn. Because there will be ups and downs if you introduce a big change to your organization. And we have had ups and downs as well. So once we started pushing towards data-driven approach, we saw all the KPIs going up. But then, after around 2 months, they all started going down quite rapidly. And we were quite puzzled. We didn't know what was happening. And we started wondering whether we made the wrong choice, whether we didn't do the right thing going after predictability. But we didn't give up. We actually doubled down on our efforts. And after a few weeks, it all started going up again, and it actually never stopped. So it was really great. So what's next? There's actually a bonus. I could probably stop here, but there's something more that we did. And we knew that what we are really good at is analyzing the current data, creating the KPIs, identifying projects out of this huge group of plus 80 projects we were running at a time, which are not doing that great, and helping those teams to get out of the trouble. But we also were aware of the fact that we are not really utilizing the historical data, that we are not really utilizing all the project-linked data that we had in Salesforce. So we started creating yet another tool. We called that tool a smoke detector. A smoke detector is a tool based on machine learning and artificial intelligence. And what it does, it is analyzing all of this data we have in Salesforce. It's taking into consideration all of this historical data, project-related data. And what it does, it is trying to draw some conclusions from this data, draw some patterns from this data, and apply it to our current projects. So essentially, as the outcome, we are getting a guideline from that tool, which of the projects that from the surface look fine, so the KPIs are fine, is the most likely to get into trouble. And even more, it is giving us a rank is giving us a likelihood of that specific project getting into trouble. And on top of that is also guiding us towards an area where the trouble may be coming from. So what you see here is a decision tree. And this decision tree shows that projects can go different ways. They can end up in a green box, being successful, but they can also end up in orange or red box, means being in the trouble. And what our smoke detector is doing, it is able to actually identify the risk of project not being successful very early on. And we are able with the smoke detector to impact the future, actually to change the destiny of the project and to avoid difficult situations within the projects. And this directly translates into customer satisfaction, because if you are running a project, the worst thing that can happen to you is a project fire. This is what you want to avoid by all means. And with our tool, we are able to actually make it happen. So thank you very much for your attention. I would love to tell you more about what we do and about our processes. So you can grab me after the presentation. You can also send me an email. We can meet over the next days to discuss it. Thank you very much, guys.